Hey everybody, here's hoping this actually works. I've gotten a couple of requests and this was kind of something I wanted to do anyway. I'm going to show you tonight how I put together a deck for using on Tabletop Simulator. This is going to be for playtest decks, nothing fancy, but I'll go through everything that I do using GIMP, and for some reason I can't get the streaming program to actually show the toolbars, so good luck. I'll narrate everything I'm doing. But literally this morning I came up with a villain just out of the blue. He's kind of a villainous Spider-Man if Spider-Man could summon spiders, and I thought let's go ahead and just throw him together into a deck, maybe half an hour work, and we can try testing him out on TTS. So, you're really just going to have to take my word for this. The place to start is to get the Sentinels of the Multiverse card templates. I think they were created by the Yoshi. I know they're available on Board Game Geek somewhere. I'll link to it in the description. But I've got, there's like blank card and, blank environment card, and there's hero card and stuff like that. There are also, in this case, the villain oversized front and back, which were created by, I want to say, Adelphaphage, maybe? I know it wasn't the same person who made the rest of them. I prefer playing with the oversized cards, so we're going to go ahead and use that. First thing I'll do is open up the blank card template, because the real easy thing to forget is you need a card back for everything. The other thing that you'll want to go and get is the correct fonts, and the site for that is blambot.com. You'll need Armor Piercing, Red State, Blue State, and Crash Landing if you want to do all the fancy stuff. I'm probably just going to use Armor Piercing for this. We're going to go ahead and start Armor Piercing and make it real big. I think 140 points is what I use here. I'll just go ahead and throw out a text box and put in His name is Spider Master, because I literally just came up with this morning. Throw that in the template, more or less centered, looks good. We'll take and export it to a new folder in my villains folder. Organization is kind of key to keeping everything straight. I have so many decks right now that I'm working on, and I'm going to go ahead and save that as cardback.psd, and I'll save a second copy of it as a PNG because PNGs are what we'll need for using in Tabletop Simulator. Okay, that's done. We can close that. Next up, Villains Front. This is the oversized character card, and you'll see this. Well, okay, no, you won't see. There are two layers: the graphics and the border. I'm going to start in the border and just go ahead and fill that with white because these are playtest cards. They don't need to look nice. Everything's going to be in black and white and just plain text. We're still in Armor Piercing, so I'll go ahead and put up the hit points first, and then we'll go ahead and put his name on here. Spider Master. What a great name, And zoom in. Now this is where you use Red State, Blue State. I'll take out that title there. And now we need to change colors here. We need that gray, so I'll keep that handy later on. So his front side, set up a text box and switch to Red State, Blue State 40 point, I think is the right font here. I have a list of all the font sizes for everything. I'm just trying to do it by memory, but we'll call this Call of the Spider. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll move on to the next thing. Set up text, gameplay text, text. So, like I said, I've got all the information open in a document. It's a very good idea to keep a text document of everything that you create. I know some people just work off of Board Game Geek, or they just work off of card images, and it's kind of a pain in the ass because anytime you change something in the cards, you'll have to change it in your text document as well, but it's really for the best if you can keep those together like that. Alright, so there's his starter gameplay text. I do have H icons. I'm not going to use them just because it takes a lot of work to get them in. But if you wanted to use the H icon, and again, I don't remember where I got it from, you would just take that H out, put 2 spaces in, and then copy the icon into the spot, and it'll fit there. But that's fine. There are other things that you can do, like, up here, you can take an italicized Spider Master's name, character names, and I think keywords are usually italicized in gameplay text. And if I wanted this to look nice, I would take and shrink these boxes down so that they're just taking up the amount of text that they need to. Doesn't matter, and advanced doesn't matter, so we'll just say increase damage dealt by villain targets by 1. Okay, that's our front card. We'll go ahead and save that as Spider Master Front, PSD, and a PNG, and move on to the back. Back's going to be pretty much the same, so we'll go ahead and skip to the deck. Alright, I got the back done. And actually, I spoke too soon. We do need to do one other thing. I think since these are playtest cards, I will just go ahead and make this its own thing. So we're going to take our character card, front character card. I'm going to go ahead and flatten it so it's all one layer. And then what we want to do is expand the size of the image without stretching the card itself to be double the size that it currently is. And I'll explain why a little bit later. So we're going to go to canvas size. The width is currently 1053, so we'll increase that to 2106. The height is currently 1508, so that'll be 3016. And we resize, and we've got ourselves a big-ass canvas. We have to do one more thing, which is increase the layer to the image size. See, now it's all white. Go ahead and resave that as both the PSD and the PNG. Okay, and that's going to be our front. So, deck time. One of the nice things about the card templates is that there's a big 70 card template that you can use. This comes with Tabletop Simulator. It's worth noting that if you have, here, let me take and open up something else real quick. I'm only capturing this one window, so I have to open up everything here. Here's the deck image that I made for Catchwater Harbor. So I just took TOSX's card images from Board Game Geek. I created an image that's 6,000 by 2,100. That's 10 cards by 2, which is enough to do the whole thing and have the card back image there, which isn't important. But I just took each of those and put it in at the current size. Now, if I was going to use Tabletop Simulator's template that is not large enough to do that, I would either have to reduce the size of each card image or make a new image like I did for that deck where I just take and scale the image to the size of the cards. This, again, is a testing deck, so it doesn't have to be pretty, and to that extent, I'm going to use the default font. So you'll notice there's a little bit of a shadowy number there. That's because these cards are numbered. There's like big gray numbers on them. I just took and whited them out a little bit so things can be visible on top of them. So we'll go ahead and make a text box and copy the first card in full. And that's the Jumping Spider. Now here's what I do to format these to make them look just a little bit nicer. I take and capitalize everything. I put hit points after a bar. And the keywords down there. This is just to increase readability. Then I make this bold and underline, and I increase the font size to 30. I'll add a few spaces just to center it. Make the keywords 20 point, or if the title is too big, I'll reduce it proportionally. And then we've got two clauses in here, so I will separate them out, and that's pretty much it. I'll take and merge the layer down into the rest of the image. Copy it, because there's 3 of these in the deck, yes. So paste that. And what I'm doing is clicking and holding Control, and that aligns the pasted portion horizontally so that I don't have to worry about the cards sliding all over the place. When you pick up your cards and look at them, they'll be at different positions on the card deck. I don't like that, so I want it to look nice. That's how you make the card. It's very simple. You'll notice that there was a number at the start there, which I took out. That's just the numbering from the text document that I'm using. That's another reason to use a text document. If you're using like Microsoft Word or something, you can use their numbered list function, because I've seen quite a few decks posted to Board Game Geek where it's like you read through it and then you get to the end and you're like, wait a minute, you're 2 cards short or you're 1 card over. The numbers to remember are 40 cards for hero deck, 25 for villain deck, 15 for an environment, 20 for a team villain. Nobody makes team villains though. That's, of course, not counting the character card. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording now, finish making this deck. We'll come back when it's done and show you a little bit of how to make things in Tabletop Simulator. Okay, and we're back to a finished testing villain deck. You'll notice there's a lot of empty space. That's because this is a 40 card template that I made myself to try and cut down on all the extra wasted space in the base template. You can customize this to any size that you want. If you wanted to do 5 by 5 or maybe 6x7 for a hero deck, that would be fine. We'll save this as spidermasterdeck.jpg. But if you're going to use a non-standard format, you have to be real careful that you keep track of what dimensions it has, and we'll find out why as soon as I open up Tabletop Simulator, which I think will require me to pause the recording again. Here we are in Tabletop Simulator. This is just one of their default opening boards. That's all we need. We're going to go ahead and create some stuff. So the first thing you want to do is go down here to Tools, hope that the program actually responds, and create a bag. The bag is going to hold your deck. We'll take and name it Spider Master. And you can do things like color it different things. I've got my MLP decks like Applejack is brown, Discord's gray, Twilight's lavender, and the new rarity deck that I'm working on is kind of a darker purple. But we'll just go ahead and stick with plain old brown. You can make it bigger, smaller. I'll show you the difference when we get to the actual board. So now what we're going to do is go to the custom part of the components and hit deck, and I'm going to move this over here because that's the thing that I was telling you about in the last video. This dialog box for some reason is behind all of this stuff. I don't know why. See, here you can see how I have organized things. So I've got my MLP stuff, my SCP stuff, and then heroes, environments, villains for general things. I've got, Blackjack is up here, and Babaroga, who's one of mine, and something else that's maybe a spoiler for my next video. So we're going to go ahead and grab the deck. We'll make that first. I'm going to upload it locally, which just means it's going to source from my Dropbox. And I've actually set this up in Dropbox in such a way that I have the same file path for both my desktop and my laptop, so I can use the same images and play Tabletop Simulator on both systems without having to keep it in two different places. Now, it defaults back to this for some reason, so we'll go back to that. We'll use card back, local. So now here's where I was saying you need to keep an eye on the dimensions that you use. The default is 10x7. That's that big template that I showed you. I use 10x4, which is the 40 cards for a hero deck. So if you did 5x5, if you did 7x6, that's fine. You just have to keep track of what's your width, what's your height in terms of number of cards across, number of cards down. And then we have a 25 card deck, so we'll move that slider over there. Unique backs, I have only just discovered how to use. If you have a whole bunch of character cards, one character with a bunch of promos, or like Master Warrior Eero who has a bunch of different character cards, you can make a template of character cards and a template of in caps, put all the in caps on the back of the character cards, and I'm going to have to do that for my stuff. But we're done with that. Go ahead and import. It takes and loads the image, and it should come up any moment. Here we go. And there's Spider Master's deck. Flip it over, there's the last card in his deck. I can take and search it and see, hey, there's all the cards. They're tinted orange for some reason. Maybe that's just my computer, but I'll stick that in the bag. And then we need to make another deck for his character card. So we'll use Spider Master front for the front and Spider Master back for the back. Go figure. And now this time, if you'll remember, I took the card and I increased the canvas size to twice the size of the card. That's because the minimum width and height is 2x2. That's what I try and use for character cards. And that's also the minimum number of cards that you can spawn for a deck. So we'll import that, creates a thing. Now it's worth noting, number one, it comes up with back from. So we take and flip that over. There's the front. Flip that one over. It's blank. We can delete it. You'll also notice it's really small. I'm going to fix that later. Whoops. Okay, fine. Guess I'm too close to somebody's hand. Now we will take and save that object. It's going to go in my villains. And because we named the bag, it comes up as Spider Master, so that's it. Now I can go ahead and open up my pre-saved Sentinels game state. And once that loads, go into the saved objects, villains, and spawn our Spider Master, and there's the stuff that I just made. Now the one thing I'm going to do is set that here and make the card bigger. Because gosh darn it, this is an oversized card, it needs to be large. That's about right. I'm using this area here as the indicator for how big it should be. Okay, that's about right. So I'll put it back in the bag, save it again, overwrite it, and now that'll be the right size the next time I want to play. Put his deck into play, and let's go ahead and roll up a team and see how Spider Master plays. Here, let me take and spawn that again, because I said I was going to do this. There's the size of that. Here's the size of the other villain bags. So you can make that a lot smaller if you want. I want to stress that it's been maybe 12 hours since I came up with this deck. It has not been play tested. It doesn't even have a thread on Board Game Geek because I'm not at a point yet where I'm like, okay, I like how this is playing, let's see how other people... No, this is going to be the first time playing this. So, let's see. Got my randomizers over here. Environment. Get the Cauldron heroes. We'll get the custom heroes. So to get a nice selection of heroes here, I will stack all of my randomizers together and we'll roll up, let's say, a 5-hero team. Okay, so we got a Cauldron hero, we got a couple of Sentinels heroes, we got a custom variant of a Sentinels hero. And I'm not going to show the whole game just because... Oh, I need my environment block. Alright, because who knows how long it'll take to play. We'll go through the first round maybe to see what happens, and then I'll take and skip to the end of the game and tell you how it turned out. Okay, let's see. At the start of the game, he gets H-2 spiders in play. Ooh, the Brown Recluse right off the bat, Tarantula, and the Black Widow. Okay, so he's got his 2 unique spiders right off the bat. And let's see, when a spider card enters play, you place H spider tokens on it. So we'll go ahead and spawn some tokens. I like red. Okay, they got their spider tokens. When a spider card would be destroyed, remove a spider token from it. If a token is removed this way, prevent the destruction. X on spider cards is equal to 1 plus the number of spider tokens on that card. In the villain turn, play the top card of the villain deck. Okay, so he'll go ahead and play a card. He gets, Unnerving Visage. It's non-going. First time Spider Master is dealt damage by a hero target each turn, that target deals himself 1 psychic damage. And then at the end of the turn, he plays the top card of his deck. Arachnoid Awareness, another ongoing. Whenever Spider Master will be dealt damage, discard the top card of the environment deck. If that card is a target, prevent the damage. Okay, so I can already see that those are sort of working at loggerheads. What do the spiders do? Steals the hero target with the lowest HP 1 toxic damage. That target cannot deal damage until the start of the villain turn. So that's going to be Wraith, unfortunately. Why is it always the Wraith? Tarantula. In the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the second highest HP, 3 melee damage. Omnitron will take that. And then the Black Widow. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP, X times 2 toxic damage. Oh yeah, so 12 toxic damage to set back. Okay, wow. Alright, so we're going to want to reduce some of those, I think. So we'll Reckless Rush, smack that Black Widow for 1. For 1 token, I should say. Smack himself, get 2 tokens. Risk, Friendly Fire, sure, why not? And I'll play Cheap Trick. I discarded the Cheap Trick. It's Afterlife Euchre. We'll go ahead and Black Widow again. This is an interesting mechanic I came up with because you've got HP and then you've got this different HP, which is supposed to represent the spider swarm you're slowly stomping. Alright, Dead Man's Hand. Discard the top card of your deck or put up 2 trick cards with the same name from your trash into play. Go ahead and put Afterlife Euchre into play. Let's see. So we can't hit the Tarantula because it's got 6 damage reduction. But if somebody can hit it, like say Omnitron with its irreducible damage, that'll take away all of its damage reduction. Brown Recluse doesn't do anything with X. Okay, so the Black Widow is the big problem, so we'll hit that again. I think Infrared Eyepiece would be a good idea. We'll go ahead and keep the Jumping Spider. And then she draws 2 cards. Given the way things are going, I think it would be a good idea to hit that Black Widow. And then Omnitron, yeah, Blade of Coding is a great idea. Select a component in play. That component start of turn effects act at the end of this turn as well. Well, there aren't any, so I draw a card. Didn't plan that very well. The block. Right. We get 4 inmates. There's Char. Okay. And that's destroyed. Alright, so that's the first round. We haven't dealt any damage to Spider Master because the spiders are a big problem. I'll go ahead and stop the recording here. We'll come back at the end. I'll let you know how it turned out because I'm sure you're dying to know. Oh god. Okay, so the heroes are getting their butts kicked. I think I'm going to just stop the game here because I already can see like 5 things that I need to change. But that's why you playtest things. So I hope this video was helpful. I might do another one showing the specifics of how to put together like nice looking cards with art and everything later on, but that'll be when I get around to actually putting together another deck. Otherwise, let me know what you thought. Let me know if you need any more like this, or just stay tuned until next Tuesday and I'll put up another Sentinels video. Flip!